Rick Ross putting up the billboard because he gave his girl new teeth and bought her a Viacom billboard. You think that's alpha? That's beta.
Jully Black, Canada's Queen of R&B, is a Juno-winning singer, songwriter, and activist with powerhouse vocals and a fearless voice for change.
And so to hear 4 Black men celebrating me, a decision that I made, didn't have to do with a chart number or a song, didn't have to do with anything but a decision. I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful.
Transformation is permanent. And so that takes time. It takes time. For me, it's about becoming like an active participant. So I'm not just telling you, try this on for size. The way I coach is through lived experiences, through being very, very vulnerable, right? And keeping it all the way real.
Welcome back to another episode of He's a Guy with the guys and
a gyal. And a woman.
Big woman, tell him, Jully.
Big Ross woman. Can we say Ross in here?
Yeah,
Jully,
speak your mind.
Speak your mind.
We don't limit. Oh man, you know it feels nice actually. I like this vibe.
You think they noticed?
You notice? Everybody else notice?
You guys are acting like, you know when they got the new Aunt Viv on Fresh Prince? They try to pretend like it didn't exist.
It's called, I just learned about that. It's called breaking down the fourth wall. Yeah. I just learned about
New
that.
Aunt Viv just slid in, all type of dark skin. We're like, wait, but she was dark skin. Wow, go on with the brightness.
And then Jazz did that to the camera. It's kind of like,
Yeah. New studio.
you know, it feels nice though. I like this.
I'm a
homie vibe.
upgrade.
We feel sponsored. You know what I mean?
Does it?
It feels sponsored.
I feel like at home.
Yeah.
You don't know what?
Okay.
I feel like let it roll off your back.
Okay.
You know?
Feels good. Feels
You know what I'm
clean.
100%.
Come on.
They have to do the best for you.
Look at that Jenna over there.
As you guys have probably already noticed, we have a wonderful, wonderful guest with us today, the amazing Jully Black. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. You know, just to let you know, we kind of go around the room and do a mental check-in.
Okay.
Type of thing.
Before we go to those,
You think we should, right?
no, subscribe
Think we
button
should?
too.
You
Hit
don't
him
think
with
I got
it.
already? I mean,
No.
Don't let
Hit him
that-
with it, Steph. We ain't running from it. Hit him with it.
Right there. Come around here, red little button, says subscribe. Hit that button, please. We appreciate you guys who we actually have amazing stories that have been going on about people coming up to us in the public and just be like, yo, love what you guys are doing. And we follow up with, have you subscribed?
Straight up.
So please do. It's been great so far. There's more subscribing. Tashawn keeps offering up gifts each time we reach a new plateau. So if you guys want to win something, that button, hit it again. See what I'm saying? So go back now.
That's some skills with that mouthpiece there. That's before you have budget, you just use your mouth. No sound effect.
You gotta start
No sound effect. Right? Start from somewhere.
Get a red button now.
No type of Foley's, not man to the type of do it. Wow. Your girlfriend must be
Professional.
happy.
What episode this is gonna be?
I tell you, professional.
Damn.
Let him know, Steph. Let him know, professional.
You know, but yeah, please do tell us. Mental check-ins is a thing that we love to do around here. So please tell us how you've been, even if it's just something that's recent, week, whatever the case is. Just let us know how you've been.
Yeah, we buried a friend yesterday, so that's always sad.
Sorry to hear that.
Friend from high school, brilliant man, father, son, all the things. 48 years old, too young. Black man gone too soon. But I will say it was quite the reunion. His mother, she was just there so strong. And I said, what is it, Mom? And she said, when fear calls, answer with faith.
I like that. Can you say that again?
She said, when fear calls, answer with faith.
Praise be.
This is a woman that buried more than one child. So I'm optimistic still and very grounded. I'm feeling the ground under my feet right now. Tashawn, we've known each other for a while. I always say, be where your feet are. So my mental check right now is I'm very present. I'm very here.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
That's heavy.
Super.
Shout outs to and condolences to that family there. And like you said, it's always unique when you find out, that reunion type of happiness, peace through the sadness. I actually, I love that. Terrell, talk to me. How you been, bro?
I've been good, Julie. You just gave me goosebumps. Look at that.
You're shivering.
Oof. Not because I'm cold,
Wow.
We just lost a young man, like you said. But my mental, it's been good. Can't complain. Had I wouldn't say a rough week, but towards the end, playing basketball, I fell on my back, so I'm a little stiff right now. So I don't want you guys making fun of me, all right? Just letting you guys know, but for the most part, I'm good.
Men over 30 is this time. Hanging up for what?
Time is crazy.
All right, but back to what I was saying. Tell us how you're mental.
Had a great week. Business is still rolling over. We're in that period where I guess after February 14th, business starts to pick up again. A lot more motives. Julie, if you didn't know, I'm a barber. So,
okay.
Yeah, so just to let
I have
you
to
know.
come for a lineup still. Just make sure it's not too mannish.
I got you.
Not too hard.
Not
Yo,
too
that's
hard.
the thing that we had to, that's the thing we had to learn,
You have to learn.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Stop giving girl man head. I'll barber them. You know what I'm saying?
With the corners.
With the corners.
Yeah. Sharp edges and things.
Sharp.
Yeah, we don't need always
Nah,
need
man,
that.
soften up the things.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah, business has been booming for me since Valentine's Day. But other than that, just kind of calm, hit the gym, get back to basketball. The first time I'm going to touch a ball today in 2 weeks, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm there early to warm up.
I'll be there with you.
All right, well, pass it along. Dion, how you doing?
Doing well. Honestly, I'm excited to embrace this new space. Week was pretty good. Again, talking about planning our men's brunch. That's so exciting just to see things fall into motion. Pieces starting to align. It's just really good. And I want to give you your flowers. The other day, Grandma me coming on stage with you, like warmed my heart. Obviously, you can attest to that. Like she's somebody that's like near and dear to my heart. So brought tears to my eyes seeing you do that.
Thank you. We love grandmommy.
Yeah.
Love grandmommy. Yeah, Julie had my grandma on stage with her in Montreal, their last show.
Crazy.
And dancing and move, and it really brought tears to my eyes.
When's the last time you seen your grandma move like that?
She be moving.
Don't get it twisted.
Nah, she be moving.
That's what I'm saying. On stage, the video you showed me, it didn't look like that was, you know what I mean? Something else, it was look like regular. Like, I be moving around.
She moved. No, if we go to the casino with her, she moved. You turn your head, she's gone. She moved.
She light on her feet.
She's gone.
Gone.
But it just speaks to that was definitely one of the highlights of my week. And my week was like very up and down. Like if I checked in, I would say like a 7, but I'm back on the up and up. Sometimes I think in life, we just get so caught up with work and we just move so fast. And this was one of those weeks where I was just moving so fast. And then I got to a point where I'm like, okay, slow down. Remember when we were on The Amazing Race, they said slow is fast?
And fast is slow.
And fast is slow. There's something about approaching life with a little bit more intention. And sometimes when we think we stop and take a break, we're losing. But actually, it helps us actually reset and see where we actually trying to go. So I feel like slowing down really brought back some rhythm to my week. But I was in a place where I was just like, so much, do. And it's like, we're not human doings, we're human beings. So sometimes it's okay to just be. So
You came to spit some bars today, huh?
That's it.
He
That's
actually helped us flow right into the first question I have. Right?
Word?
Yeah.
You're smooth too. Picking up on that.
Managing pressures. So everybody kind of talked about a little bit of pressure in their week, wherever that comes from, certain circumstances or whatever, right? So I wanted to kind of open it up to the room to begin. How does everybody go through managing pressures, whether big or small? Anybody would like to kick off? Sure, yeah, leaving it to me. I don't know, but
I think something's just on the top of my mind, so I'll just speak on it. For me, like managing pressure, because even for me, like every time I go to, whether I go on stage to speak or I'm on a panel or I'm speaking in front of everybody, anytime I feel like I have to perform, I think one way I manage the pressure that really stands out to me is remembering that I've done this before, or remembering that I got through something before I didn't think I could get through. Because sometimes we look at the future and think, I can't, or my luck's gonna run out, or it's gonna go so wrong. But when I feel like when I stand on, look at how far I've come, that is definitely one way that I help get through the pressure of just performing in life.
I like that.
But that's specific to work and performance, but that's one thing that came to my mind when you said it. So I just spoke up.
To add to that, I'll go to more of a livelihood thing, being a father and a present, like, partner. I think like for me, just working, doing the podcast, doing the men's brunches, it takes a lot out of you. And one of the things that I just keep me grounded is just knowing like I'm doing this for a purpose, and my kids are my purpose, my partner's my purpose, and just to build a name for my family. So when they're looking back, like wow, like Dion and his guys, they did this, they built something from the ground up, and just again, kind of give motivation to the future, not just my family. People from my community, people could see, okay, he made it out, he did this, or not saying I made it out or anything. You know what I mean? But like
You did.
You have.
yeah, taking the steps towards being greater each and every day. So I think just keeping grounded and just looking at my surroundings and being present, looking at my family. Like, yeah, this is what I do it for.
You guys got some good answers. I got
That was great. I talk about work. I talk about purpose.
I got reevaluated my answer. I'm like, yo, let somebody else go, please.
I'll go.
Julie said she go too.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just really figuring out or just thinking about where's the pressure actually coming from, right? And am I carrying other people's pressure? Is this generational pressure? Is this community pressure? Right? Really recognizing that I am absolutely one of one. Even though I was born a twin, I'm still one of one.
You're a twin?
Wow.
Yeah, I am. I twin passed when we were 1 week old.
Oh, I apologize.
So thank you. But just recognizing like the pressure's really coming from ourselves, really and truly. I asked somebody to really come up to me and I'm like, is really someone coming to me saying like, you're not gonna do a good job? No one's coming to your face to really come at you like that, right? And so it's important to just really trust who you are and have certainty in what you're doing. Like we can really move through life recognizing that, look what our ancestors already did, like just for our freedom alone.
Yeah.
We're not even trying to get deep with it. You know what I mean? Just for us to sit here, right? So what pressure do we really have? I often say I couldn't be a slave. I could not be a slave. I couldn't be a slave.
Julie.
Sorry to laugh. I heard my dad say I can't pick cotton. I have allergies.
Right? And it might be, people might be vexed at me and slip into the comments and all the things, but you have to really understand that we are living, it's a luxurious life we have, 100%. So then what are we setting up for the future, really? That's our responsibility.
Well, follow that one up.
Well, then I be stumbling on my words. But
Hold on, let me just say this. This is a relay team, by the way.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
100%. This is a relay team. So whoever's running, we all run into anchor. Just pass the baton and call a judge.
Yeah.
I know, 100%.
You will follow that.
I'm not gonna follow it, but to be honest, I like pressure, right? So everybody has their own different angle of different things. I honestly like pressure. It keeps me on my toes for some reason, because I feel like if I'm not being pressured, I'm like kind of falling off or not staying focused. But the real pressure that I honestly felt when I was like, whoa, I never felt that before, was trying to be there for my son, for his events, while still trying to work, right? So I still have to have the income coming in and being there for him as well. So it's a tough balance, but that was the most pressure I felt in a while. It's not gonna top anything that anybody says, but
Listen.
No, but how do you deal with that? That's what I'm saying.
How do I deal with it? To be honest, it's a balance, right? Like even if I'm not there on time, I try to be there, right? Because like I said, I do got to provide for the family, and also being there for him, just for his mental state, knowing that my dad was there. It goes a long way, to be honest, right?
Effort counts, like, you know what I mean? Like
Sure does.
when you're playing, he's playing in a game. You know what I mean? That wondering, is he ever coming? Is he ever coming? But seeing you, okay.
Take that off, yeah.
He actually came through.
No, and I'll give you an example of that. Like I was late for one of his games, and when I got there, his mother's like, he's not playing too well. He saw me, his face lit up.
It's go time.
And he took the words right out of my mouth. He's like, he's ready to go now. Like he's playing defense. He's all up in the guy's face. I even know my son gets aggressive. I'm like, whoa, who's this kid? But it's those things that makes you see, like, I'm like, I think I'm going through pressure, but like, what was the pressure of him, how he felt? That's how I kind of look at things too, right? So, like I said, that's how I deal with the pressure, and I like pressure, to be honest.
Pressure makes diamonds, some would say.
That's right.
Yo, you guys are good.
Top that stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like I can I take a bit out of everybody's type of situation or story or examples, and simply because for me it's one of those things where Tashawn knows this. I've talked about this even over the last few weeks. It's just like for me and pressure, I kind of I try to minimize pressure by just saying to myself, I try to not to make the most of a situation. I try to kind of trick my mind into downplaying it into a better comfortability space for me. So when I look at a situation like, for example, we're talking about barbering. If I'm cutting somebody's hair or something I don't really know, example, how to like do the best of or whatever the case is, I go about the steps that I know I'm capable of doing and breaking something down to a place, like I said, I'm dumbing it down for myself. So I never look at a situation for it as a whole. I try to do my best to break it down in situations that, into sections that I can receive and break down mentally. So I'm saying a little bit more digestible for myself. So yeah, that's more or less how I think I would go about pressures. But to, I guess, specify it now, Jully, you've gone up in front of countless of thousands, groups of thousands of people.
Millions.
You know what I mean? to perform.
Yes.
Now, I've always said, there's one that always sticks out to my mind. There's a concert of Rima, right? Of this artist. He goes out there and artists, like the crowd just knows his lyrics. He doesn't have to say a word yet. The beat just drops and he looks like he's about to go, but then people just start singing and he doesn't say a word. They have to run the track back. So I think for artists, that is one of the most breathtaking and exhilarating feelings, but I'm not an artist, so I can't speak to it. You tell me now, in doing all of that, what is that type of pressure?
Pressure?
If it is,
that's a playground. That's a playground. It's fun. You realize that this gift that it was given to you for free, I did nothing for this gift. All I'm supposed to do is steward it, take care of it, do my trills like we were speaking about earlier, take care of my voice. It's a beautiful thing, but what's even more fulfilling is when they don't know my songs.
It's better that way.
Yeah, when you could disarm people.
Ooh.
Right? When you come into a space and they're expecting 7 Day Fool, and that's the last song. And so you go through a catalog of 30 years of music, right? And you're speaking to them, you're having them feel in areas they never wanted to feel. Having big man face some emotion, to be vulnerable. Having white people that started like this and for real, end up in a straight praise and worship, not realizing that this is the church of Jully Black, right? And so that's even more fulfilling, and understanding that it's a language. Like music, we all listen to music, right? Yeah, I'm a part of the musical army, so to speak, but we all speak it and we all understand it. And so that's what's most important, to keep that soundtrack of life going. So yeah, it's a playground.
Did you ever feel pressure, like having to step in front of the stage and I guess more so in your beginning stages?
I felt pressure, more so anxiety and a fear when I stepped into the musical theater. So that was 5 years ago. I don't read music at all. Everything's by ear. So learning 29 songs, 300 pages of script, and everyone went to musical theater school, and I'm from Finch. I just, for those who don't know, Google. I went to school at Jade and Finch, right? And so to step in and to be humble, seeing people open up their sheet music and be able to just sing it, and I have to listen to it. It took me a year. It took them 6 weeks, but they casted me as Caroline. That was pressure.
I was gonna say, like, how do you digest that then? Like, it's because that's, even looking at yourself, do you not kind of, in a way, naturally just make yourself feel small when you see other people doing something so formal or out of formality, and then you have to go about it a different way?
Yeah, the imposter syndrome set in for sure. I felt, I didn't know if I would be able to do it, but it's on the other side of that accomplishment. And you said it earlier, like when you know you've already walked the road, you've accomplished something, you just apply, it's transferable skills. It absolutely is. That feeling of a win, the win feels the same no matter what the win is. You have to remember what that win feels like and what that discipline felt like, right? And so I knew I had the discipline, the work ethic, but the challenge was the boundaries. The challenge was knowing that I had to study this music, study these words. And as a grown-ass woman that's been done college, finished school, now I had this project in front of me, right? And so it was pressure, but my gosh, now, like my vocal cords are so strong, it's a muscle. They're so strong that I know I could do anything pretty much.
I like that.
Applaud you on that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So kind of going to our next question. How important is it for you to stay true to yourself, like when you're pursuing success?
Some type of loaded question right there. I I actually want to flip the question back on you guys and define
love that.
What does staying true to yourself mean to each of you? You asked me how important it is, but what does that truth mean to you? Like, what does staying true mean to each of you?
I'll go.
Okay.
Honestly, I spoke about this in one of our previous podcasts. Like, I feel like when we go out, you go into a room, you see everybody looking the same, doing the same thing, dressing the same. I think staying true to your authentic self, your likes, your dislikes, your red flags, just being you, like to the core. I think that's for me how I would describe it.
This one, I say this one hits for me, especially being like in the content creation space, because staying true to yourself, and I feel like it's a lot of people in a lot of spaces, not even content creation. Whenever you work in the or you're doing anything public facing, whether you go to your job, whether you're creating content, it's the question is, how much of me do I show up as? Do I say what I really mean? Like when I go to the office and Craig asks me, "How was your weekend, bud?" Like, how do I respond to Craig? Do I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I give him the real, like, bro, my weekend was shit, I turned up, or like what? How do I speak about it? It's like, because I feel like a lot of us as black men or as black people in general, it can sometimes feel like we have to present
Code switch a lot.
We have to code switch. We have to present to the world one way, and then sometimes we only can feel comfortable around our community in another way. So it's like how I get it. It's like it can feel like a balancing act at times, and I even feel that way specific to my cause as a content creator. It's like, can I speak on how I feel about certain things? Can I speak on politics? Can I speak on just my emotions? Yeah, I can be vulnerable as it relates to mental health, but it's like, how vulnerable? Can I talk about my relationships? Can I talk, like, how far can I go with it? And sometimes this is a question that I really struggle with answering. What does truly showing up authentically as yourself really mean? And where do you draw that line? And I think as we grow, and as you see, like, as people get older, it seems like every 10 years, people are more comfortable being more of themselves. You talk to an 80-year-old, like you talk to my grandma, she's just who she is. It doesn't even matter. But when you talk to a 15-year-old, a teenager, you're trying to be like you're trying to be cool.
Trying to fit so many hats.
So it feels like through that life journey, we're always getting a step closer to being authentically us. But it really depends on the space that you're in. But like, it's a tough question to answer. And like, even to you, Jully, like, what does that look like for you? Because I feel like when I see you on TV and I see you performing, that looks like Jully. And the Jully I know off stage is the Jully I see on stage. Was it always like that?
Always. And maybe I'm, an anomaly. What I've dialed up recently, I feel emotional. It's just what my mom used to say. Like, or the people in the community, oh, she was charismatic. Or in school, teachers used to say, oh, Julianne is so loud. Or Julianne is, doesn't pay attention. Or Julianne, like, just all the things that there were these labels. That was actually my personality being shaped, right? And being 5'10", 10 years old, size 10 shoe, size 10 jeans. I could not be small if I wanted to. And so I stepped into that a long time ago. I was like, hey, this is me. Actually, I titled my first album, This Is Me. But I will say this, and I actually want you guys to join me in this mantra.
Okay.
I love mantras. Okay? So we're going to repeat after me. It goes like this. You don't get what you ask for, you get what you believe.
You don't get what you ask for, you get what you believe.
And what you believe about yourself shows up in your energy.
What you believe about yourself shows up in your energy.
It's how you walk into a room.
It's how you walk into a room.
It's how you communicate through body language.
It's how you communicate through body language.
I don't deserve to be here.
I don't deserve to be here.
It's whether you sit up straight or hide out in the back of a meeting.
It's whether you sit up straight or hide in the back of a meeting.
At times, my own energy was saying, I'm cool with the bare minimum.
At times, my own energy was saying,
I'm cool with the bare minimum.
Don't give me more.
Don't give me more.
Without knowing it, I stunted my own growth.
Without knowing it, I stunted my own growth.
Because I was scared to be magnificent and doubtful that I was.
I was scared to be magnificent and doubtful that I was.
I have embraced moments I never dreamed I would have.
I have embraced moments I never dreamed I would have.
Yet still, there's more I can do.
But still, there's more I can do.
Other ways for me to grow.
Other ways for me to grow.
This is the line that you need to hold on to. As I keep relearning
As I keep relearning,
It's okay to own a desire for more.
it's okay to own a desire for more.
That's it.
That's
As I
it.
keep relearning, it's okay to own a desire for more. Wow. Our culture, our community, our blackness, yeah, that's enough. You're too greedy. Oh, you want too much. Oh, you're too bossy. Oh. No other culture that I know of, community, says, oh, no, that's enough. No, you've done enough. You've acquired enough. We have to relearn it. And so energy, how you walk into a room as black men. Remember we were on Amazing Race. Like, what about driving while black? What about, you have to advocate for one another. And as black women, we have to advocate for black men. Be the mouthpiece as much as possible. And y'all have to keep us safe and protected, right? And so energy is everything. Energy is everything. We walk into rooms and we shift atmospheres, especially when we're the only. And so when I speak to people, they're like, oh, how does it feel to be the only? You don't leave that room when you're the only. All of them look the same. All of them have lived the same. You have the secret. You have the cure. We have the remedy, but we're leaving the rooms.
Yo, that's powerful now.
Wow.
I don't speak on that. Like, in terms of, I even want to go further on that point, like leaving the room because we feel like in a sense of uncomfortability or I guess just different.
Don't belong.
Yeah, like I can't tell you how many times I probably left the room because of that subconsciously. You know what I mean? Without even thinking about that. That's insane. What made you learn that mantra? Like how did that mantra come about? Because
It found me. I know a bag of mantras.
Yeah.
I was raised Christian, still a Christian woman, all the things, right? But we quote Bible and don't understand what it's saying.
not a time.
That's a whole other podcast. Whole other podcast.
For sure.
Right? So I often say, if I'm the only Bible anyone ever reads in watching my life, what are they learning?
Okay.
You got our bars or something. Now, I don't know how much of a topic point this was for you going on that you had to keep going, but the national anthem.
Oh, actually, they just mentioned that the other day because
perfect.
Chantel Kreviazek changed a word, I guess, recently.
Yes, at the hockey game. I heard
thing.
that.
Yeah.
And they allowed it.
They allowed it, yeah.
Imagine.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they allowed it, no problem, no death threats.
So how do you feel as
That's
in a sense, like a trailblazer into that? Like that's something that's almost taboo, I guess?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
I didn't do it for me. Absolutely didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for recognition. I have friends who are Indigenous, and I stopped singing the anthem since 2020, once everything was happening with Truth and Reconciliation and recovering those lives, not discovering, whole other thing in the words. But then again, I hear my late mom, like, what are you gonna do with that opportunity? How are you gonna make it make sense? And so a lot of death threats. It was a tough time for a moment, but
What even brought you to that decision into doing that? Because I know that in and of itself is just a difficult decision sometimes, or maybe it wasn't. But
it wasn't. It was very, very easy because it was time. It was timely. I know, I go back to my church vibes, many are called, but few are chosen, right? I know, and I knew since I was a little girl that I was chosen. And that responsibility has been hard at times because the road is long. The road is long, the road is hard, the mountain's rough, right? And then my mom would say, you can't get to the top of the mountain if the surface is smooth, Jully. It has to be a rough surface. Like all these parables. A woman born in 1936, my mom had me late. Yeah, so she got all these parables. Pig say, Mama, and I'm like, what does the pig say? Why make your mouth so long? Mama said, don't worry, I come. I'm like, what are you talking about?
all these words
Julie, trust me, we're all Caribbean here. We're all looking at you like, we know what you're talking about, bro. Our parents still say something like, Mom, what are you talking about?
That's funny because I could have a friend over and be like, what she said?
Don't even worry about it.
Right. It makes sense.
Say it again.
Sorry.
Pure riddles,
Right?
That's what I'm saying. So, to be honest with you, I want to kind of open this up to the room, but in a moment, I do want to give you that flowers for that. Like, that
thank
is
you.
amazing. Like, to even think about it being actually easy to us, you saying that is like, Wow. 'Cause
Let me tell you why it was easy. And, and Tashawn, you were there when we were for that whole time. Like, if anyone in this room has experienced loss and extreme loss, for me, it's my mom and 3 siblings, right? So I've experienced death in a whole other way. Then changing a word, not so much, not so hard, And true change only comes when decisions that seem difficult to others are actually made. Like, that's when the change and transformation could happen. It's on the other side of the decision. It's on the other side of fear. People are just camping out fear. Oh, just camping out behind fear. No, you have to go on the other side of it.
So I guess that's kind of what I want to open up to the room about. Like, what do you guys think we as Black men trying to become better men? How do you think we can learn from things of that? Not only that, but other things, and just challenging fear that stands in front of us, and be like, you know what? It's not that fearful. We break it down and say, how can we learn from things like that?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is it's standing in what you believe in. And the other thing that I think really stands out for us with men especially, there are things greater than money. There are things more important than money. Jully could have not changed, could have just went with the status quo because of the potential risks of I could lose these deals, people may no longer sign me, but that didn't matter. It was doing what she believed was right. And I think that's something that men could definitely learn from that, because how many times do we say, I just got to get the bag and do things that are not right to get the bag?
Uninterrupted.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think that to me is one of the biggest learnings, standing for what's right. Sometimes we don't do that.
What I took from that was, I could be wrong, Julie, it was brave. Right? When I saw it, heard it, read the news articles, and I was like, wow. If a strong Black woman in herself could take a stance on what she believes, why can't a strong Black man, as they see me, they see us, take a stance on what we believe? 100%. And that's all I took from that. So I do want to give you your flowers for that, to be honest.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think extending a helping hand. I think oftentimes we don't help each other. I think you had an opportunity to bring, I guess, awareness to something that we often overlook. I commend you for it. I do know quite a bit of Indigenous people. I took a class in university that changed my life, and just looking into that, you made me cry. Hold it. Hold on.
Can I just say this right now?
Yeah,
Of course.
Come to share.
I have brothers that didn't protect me, that didn't look out for me. And so to hear 4 Black men celebrating me, a decision that I made, didn't have to do with a chart number or a song, didn't have to do with anything but a decision. I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful.
It's wonderful. Give us a second.
To bring back to my point, I think that what we can learn is extending a hand, and it's powerful to help others, to help them achieve their goals, to bring recognition to past traumas, past things that I guess communities, people, anybody has gone through. That's my biggest takeaway from it. I think that, again, it was amazing of you to do. From my reception, from people that I spoke to, it was well received. They all loved it, and you know what I mean. Like I said, you brought awareness and really helped out a community bring forth their voice that they don't necessarily get to normally do. So,
Thank you.
And just to add to even what Dion's saying, it's truly inspiring because, even just from knowing you, you've inspired me to be more authentic and more real. And a lot of times the people we look up to, we love them because we know they're showing up as themselves. So even now, as I approach all the things I do, it's more about realness, authenticity, community. Even us being able to do this together was, I'm sure, somehow inspired by you. You know what I mean? So it's stepping in your purpose is not always easy because you know, there might be naysayers watching, you know, like it will be hard and you think of what could go wrong. But sometimes the beauty is really found in the what could go right. And I love the way you focus on that. And it's inspiring.
Thank you.
Talk about it.
Woo.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you see what I'm saying? Catch you off guard sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Now you believe me. Now you believe me. Jully, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I saw a tear, I'm like, I can't look. I get you twice? Like, I get me twice.
I get you twice.
Not twice, please, Jully. In the back of my mind, say, please, Jully, please.
To go off of that, though, I wanted to ask you, is there a moment where you felt like you had to play the game just because of those things? Like, is there a moment where, like we were talking about, where we're authentic, where you go above and beyond those things where it doesn't really matter, and you did things, I guess, like you said, outside of yourself, it wasn't for you. But is there a moment in that where you had that kind of, this is the game versus being yourself?
Right. So this is going to sound like a very interesting example. It's the first time I spoke about this because I've never been asked that question, interestingly enough. You'd think I would have been. And it was when I got into television. I used to be a correspondent on E-Talk. And I was wearing a bag of wigs.
Hold on, I have a question. Why you have to say it like that? A bag of wigs.
She beat her authentic self, man.
Right? And so I was like, I'd change the wig them and I'd name the wig them. And then it got to the point where certain white people, part of the cast and crew, and, oh, are you going to wear Stephanie today? Are you going to wear China today? Are you going to wear Heidi today? These are the real names of the wigs, right? Yeah. And I was like, what did I set myself up for? Like, it was so uncomfortable. This is before, like, this is at the point where my own hair was like down to my waist. I'm braiding up my head and I'm putting the wig on and I hated it. I didn't want to wear the wigs, right? And so, I rocked the wigs for a minute and then after I went into the braids and then eventually I cut my hair. But I remember that as a defining moment. And then speaking to Tracy Moore from the City Line, she shared when she had to literally change her hair to be accepted on television. So it's in those spaces. Music space, I've been Jully, truly Jully, sometimes unruly is my is my phrase. But and a lot of women go through that as far as our natural hair and beauty standards, So that would be the only time. I've never been forced to be smaller, lighter, any of the things. I've always been all of this, and it's been fine.
This might be a heavy, heavy question. To you for, I guess, not heaviness in terms of what it is, but heavy because it's like, how do you as one person answer this? But I wanted to ask just to see, and then we can open up to the room, of course, as well. How do you think men should go, kind of, just from a woman's perspective, how do you think men should go about the same thing, kind of navigating that, playing the game versus being yourself? Because it's, like we've spoken about even just before, but we've spoken about it before as well on other episodes where it's just like we show up as the guy that wants to present as a person that makes a bag of money or jewelry or designer clothes or got a nice car or just to show up as this. And you could be all of that, but who are you outside if you were to strip yourself of those things, right? So it's kind of like, how do you, or how would you, I guess, if any advice at all from a woman's perspective, how would you give a man out there watching today the advice of playing the game versus being yourself, or how to navigate that?
Right. First thought, right thought is, who are you emulating? What did you see growing up? And why are you continuing to, I call it like memorizing the memory, and then you're basically living out that memory, right? And I think there's been it's a fine line between alpha and beta. I think there's a lot more beta men acting like they're alpha. And so as far as advice, like really and truly, it's this, what I'm seeing here, it's beautiful because it is projection and reflection. And you really need to establish who you're going to let stand in your mirror, right? And that's very, very important. Male, female, I don't care how you identify. We are moving, breathing, representations of our circle, our small group. And even for me, I realized like there's some things, I acknowledge my mom a lot, everyone knows this, But she also went through a point where she was like, you know what? Nah, I'm done with man. Nah, I'm not get married again. Nah, better. You know what I mean? Your father do this and your father and your father and your father. And so, Lord Jesus, light garden picnic. Lord, your light garden picnic. Right? And I was like, okay, wait. So all of that I had to take into therapy. Like, I'm team therapy, whether it's group therapy, one-on-one therapy. Like, we have to talk about it. So this whole playing the game thing, it gets tired. And everybody runs out of steam. Everybody. So it's almost like smoking. I tell me, why start smoking when you're going to have to quit? Or you're going to die? Mm-hmm. You're starting something that is it's a dead end. So same thing. Like you're playing this game, you're putting on this character. That's a lot. It's heavy. And it takes the J out of your joy. Right? So.
And I can add to that. So like you just mentioned your mom. I'll give you an example. When I was growing up, I lived in pretty rough neighborhoods, and everybody wants to be a gangster. So whatever, I wanted to be a gangster. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's where everybody is, pants sagging, looking dirty, whatever. And one time my mom just looked at me, she like, this is not you. This is not you. The kid that I sent to this school that's getting this education is coming back home to do this. And I remember it stuck with me. She's like, you look like a bum. Fix up. And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, she don't know what she's talking about. And then it's funny because then I played basketball as well. So she couldn't remember these two names. She goes, Cedric's son and one name, Tion, I think his name. Mm-hmm. Call them and chill with them and do something with them. This gangster look. And I hit. And I was like, damn, I gotta change. So if you, to all that, all I would just say is keep it 100, be yourself.
Gentlemen, how do we feel like men can better play the game at all, but that battle between that and being themselves?
But who made up the rules to this game, though? What's this game?
See, that's what we've seen, right? It's the examples that have been set for us, and I think sometimes we fall in love with those examples. We don't even know why. You know what I mean? It's like the easiest example that comes to my mind is like Gallus.
Say it every day for real. Yeah.
To have a whole bunch of women, that's like, what is it? We've been shown that a lot of times for our whole lives that's the way to live. Mm-hmm. And it's like, is that truly what we want as men? Sometimes I don't know how to answer that. I don't think that's always it. I think a lot of times we desire true, genuine love, but we're scared of it because we haven't seen it. We don't know what it looks like. We don't have an example of it. But what we've had the example for was a Gallus. You're in the barbershop at 7 years old, the barbers ask you, how much gal you have? I'm 7, bro. That's true. How much baby money you have?
Yeah, one gal, you have your one burner.
Yo, dog, the burner conversation stop. Gets me to this day. I'm asking at the barbershop the other day. Steph, you have 2 burner? Yo, bro, please. I'm just trying to cut my class here. Like,
yes. If you told them you had one girlfriend, they would be disappointed in you.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, authentically, I don't even believe a lot of men even want that. It's just that is where their value comes from. That's where their self-esteem is founded in, is how much women do I have? And I've been guilty of that. Yeah. I know what that feels like because that's what I saw growing up. Mm-hmm. Everybody had lots of women. So it's like, now I'm like unlearning that because I truly don't believe I feel fulfilled living that type of life. Truly for me. I can't speak on everybody. I can't say all men should only be with one woman. I'm not here saying that. I think there are men who do that just to play a game when it's not truly what they want.
Yeah. I just want to say this in this moment because you guys have enough gal that watch your things, right? Because it's a very good-looking cast in here, right? It's face cards.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, face cards. I want to say this in this moment because what I had to unlearn is the strong black woman title. And I've had to take the S off of my chest and replace it with safe, seen, and soft. Mm-hmm. This whole moving through life, I've never heard strong white woman, strong Asian woman, strong South Asian woman, strong Spanish woman. Never in life.
Just your own label as a black
just
woman.
Strong black woman. And so therefore, a lot of us are moving through life, have to be strong. We're denied medical attention, have to be strong. right? So all of in our relationships, not being able to be submissive, all the things, right? So there's a lot. We actually mirror one another in that sense. And for some reason, we haven't ended up together. And now it's time, like, all right, you know what? We have to dismantle this whole thing. And this space it's a beautiful space. I just wanted to share that in that moment.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah. I think the work we're trying to do here is of that. We're trying to show up better in work. We're trying to show up better in friendship. We're trying to show up better in intimacy, right? Family. We're just trying to give people that. Again, we don't know all the answers, but it's starting conversation that I guess is what.
But who does though? Who knows all the answers?
You're right.
Nobody.
You're right.
Nobody.
This, for me, like showing up in my true authentic self, I feel like I've gotten the best reception. And I was pretending to be somebody, or like you said, back in the day, being this gangster and all this stuff. And I was like, didn't even feel right. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like I had people that were around me just to say that they were around me, or because they did that. I didn't know anything about them. I didn't know their likes, their dislikes. And you get, like you said, you run out of steam. Eventually you're like, why am I doing this? And then like, I found playing basketball. So I think that something that's really big for people to find is community. Started playing basketball and I'm like, okay, we have this in common. Our parents know this person. You know what I mean? Just making all these connections. And I was like, okay, this is who I truly am. I guess it's just kind of going through life and figuring out who that is. Obviously being young, you're pulled by like social media right now. I would hate to be a kid right now.
Hate.
Pulled by social media, like this is what a boss looks like. This is what like you said, a gal is or whatever. You just don't know where to go. And now there's so much information and there's like information overload that you don't know where to kind of take yourself. But I would urge anybody that's trying to find themselves or what that authentic self looks like, is find community. Find people that actually enjoy the things that you enjoy yourself. That's what I would say, to be honest with you.
I can absolutely echo that, man. That the idea of going somewhere because you think of something or you feel like it'll breed a certain result, and then when it doesn't, you're still trying to fight that result. You're still trying to fight these. It's just like all of these things are showing you this is probably not where you should be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But yeah, let's move on now. Speaking about relationships, Jully, marriage.
Yeah.
How's that?
I'm not married yet. I'm engaged. I'm not married
okay.
yet.
Okay, engaged. How is
Thank
it?
you.
Nice.
Thank you. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have two guys on our panel here. That one's married and then one engaged himself. So
Yes. I think I saw you pop the tings. Yes, you pop the tings.
I did.
Let's go. Good.
So we've asked them essentially on their journey of how has it brought them to this decision and what type of things they've learned along their way. So I want to kind of extend that to you as well. Looking back, what could you say that helped you learn along this journey? That's like it's brought you to this point where it's like it's the right time for me to.
Well, I think what's most important is to the journey towards wholeness, right? And not expecting anyone else to basically fill your life up and complete you, right? I also, all my sisters have been divorced many times, right? And they'll probably hate me for saying this, but married many times, divorced many times, which is fine. My brothers have been married and still married. So there's something generationally with the women in my family. My mom, my grandma, my great-grandma. Like I've been doing the research. I'm like, okay, so go on. How come the women haven't had successful relationships? That's a whole other podcast. But I think when you're ready, your person finds you, right? I took the S off my chest. I did not want to go through life with this thing, right? And also, I remember Tina Turner said it. She was getting married later in life, and it was less about the whole idea of, let's get married and all of the fun, and more about someone bearing witness to your life and witnessing your greatness and being able to experience, of course, the highs and lows, but also having access, and who could take agency when life comes and someone has to make decisions for you and you need to make decisions for someone else. We forget that, as you've been speaking about your son and your children, in my spirit, in my gut, what's kept coming up for me is to try not to make your children an idol. And I say this because my mom buried 3, right? And so, and not to make this morbid and scary, right? You and your wife were chosen to make those beautiful cocktails, right? Great mixed drink type thing. But that's that. Steward them, take care of them. Then they're their own people too. And I had to realize I'm my own person. And though my siblings were divorced and my mom and all that, what did I want for me? And what type of family do I want to have that starts with me and this other person, right? And so, and realizing what I didn't want. I think too many women have a list of what they want. Want. 100 things. I had like 4 things that I didn't want. It's a much shorter list, right? And so, and holding space for heartbreak, holding space for hurt. Like that's where you learn, through all the hurts. We don't learn through triumphs. We do not learn a damn. Celebrate is good, blah, blah, blah. But the true growth is through the hurt. It's being able to be like, oh, I have to have this conversation. Ooh. And not just romantic relationships. I've had friendships that I had to end as though they were romantic relationships recently. Like, it's like, okay, so how do I do this respectfully, amicably, and say, hey, you know what? I'm not my authentic self in this friendship. Whew. It's a whole it's heavy. Sure. Right? And recognizing that there were people around me that had dysfunctional relationships and actually couldn't witness a happy relationship. So I had to reposition myself. Okay.
Well, Jully gives you a lot to think about, you know? Every time he talks, I'm like, Jully, you're doing this to me right now.
I can't wait to rewatch this. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Me too.
Bad right now, but I'm right now. He's down. I'm here thinking about relationships I have. I'm reevaluating.
It's true. Because guess what? It's seniority. People lean on seniority, right? It's like, well, what about loyalty? I'm leaning into the loyalty more than seniority. A lot of people's membership has been expired, and they're just being carried into my future. Like, no. You don't get that access.
Well said.
I'm sorry to put this on you again. I don't want to shoulder you because you're the only woman in the room. I don't want to shoulder you with like the idea of how can Jully help us solve men? But
this is a conversation. This is a conversation I wish I could have with my brothers.
You know, it's just, so I wanted to ask you but in your opinion, in showing that, because it seems like you've done the work, right?
I'm doing the work. It never ends.
It's never ending. You're right. But doing the work. Now, as we've talked about in prior episodes, men need to we need to cross the barrier of even knowing there's work to be done. You see what I'm saying? So it's more so like, how do you feel, in your opinion, men can kind of show up better?
In what space? In relationships?
Spaces, period. Just like, I mean, I could be more specific, of course, but like relationships, intimacy, friendship, family, any of these things where we feel like, yes, men are shouldering, we can acknowledge a lot of things. Right?
Yeah.
That men are shouldering a lot of barriers and hardships and things of that nature, and that's cool. If that's where you'd like to start the work, that's one area we can start the work in, or a various amount. But yeah, I guess it would be more so in relationships and even just showing up better for women, especially Black women. How do you feel like we can, as men, show up a bit better? I
don't think we don't give men and Black men enough credit for actually being there and have shown up already. I haven't had one time, even this space, this is our first time conversation, the 5 of us. It's been fantastic. I think there's been, we need to, there's a represent and there's a represent. We need to represent Black men to society and to community, right? Because there hasn't been a time I haven't got a nugget from any Black man I've sat and spoken to, shared my what's going on, even with my girlfriends, my work, my this, that. Tashana and I have a strong friendship. We've spoken about things that were like, heavy things, and have grown from it. So I think it's a matter of all of you recognizing your value, not in a way that's some cliche vibes, and what you have to offer this world, and how you move through this world, knowing that you slap your chest like you belong. It's a sense of belonging. Back to the mantra, right? It's how you show up. It's in your energy. And actually calling out your brethren if they're doing some fool things. You got to call each other out on it. If that doesn't align with your beliefs, your value systems, right? You have to call each other out on it, because love is in an instant. Forget the conditions. If you truly love each other, it's in an instant. It's not going to end a friendship. Talk the truth. Take the time you need. If you need to take some time, take some time. But you guys have to really roll your shoulders back and know the value you have in this earth. Are you kidding me? Like, nah. There's nothing I could teach you that you don't already know. You need a man.
Straight up.
You need a man.
She's talking. She's talking. She's talking.
And I think just do away with this. I was in a relationship for 9 years. It was so shit. And the reason why it was shit is because he was so competitive. He did not realize his own value. And that what he brought into the relationship, I valued, and I just needed him to hold space for me. That's it. Just hold that space. Let me be Julianne and Indira Gordon, not Jully Black. He saw Jully Black. Jully Black gets everything. You know what I mean? So it's that competitiveness. We have to stop. We have to stop that.
Do you guys feel like that's something that's actually very common? Like if you guys were to look at friends' relationships with women or whatever the case is, their sister, anything, do you feel like that's just something ego-wise that we always bring to the table? Just something that's competitive? Because I feel like that's the case.
Of course, something as simple as like, oh, your girl makes more money. You're already, your ego's hurt.
Yeah. You're
like, oh, what do I do? She's bringing more. It's like almost like I have to go get a better job. I have to do this to make it seem like I'm pulling my weight. But like you said, just being there and hold it, not just being there holding space, but like, I don't necessarily have to make the same amount of money.
No.
I could bring other things to the table. And now we're coexisting with each other, doing different things and making it work.
I keep going back to what Tashawn said earlier in the episode. You know what I mean? It's just like one of those things where it's like we put so much emphasis on money as men. It's like when a woman asks like, what do we bring to the table? The usually thing that men think about is, oh, we'll bring the monetary value. We'll take care. That's our version of providing and protecting. You know what I mean? So I feel like men out there, we just have to do the work to figure out what value we have.
Yeah, and I'll say this, like, especially with the relationship I'm in now with my fiance, and the whole, him being able to scan a room, him walk into a room and basically know what's going on in the room before I even get there, priceless. Him listening, just listening without judgment, listening without even having to give an opinion, priceless, priceless. I see him when I come from the airport, priceless. Like, these are little, it seems little, but let me tell you something. A listening man, you can't put a price tag on a listening man. It'll have us not have to always go to our girlfriends. Like, because your perspective in life, we're moving through life. We have so much to offer one another. How we see the world through each of our lenses, that is valuable. But if I'm always having to go to my girlfriend, it's one-sided. Yeah. Right?
I just want to say this, since we were talking about money. I don't mind if my girl makes more money than me or my wife.
More money to marry her. More money to marry her.
Yeah, just make it, bring it home, baby. We'll spend it together. You know, I don't mind being wined and dined. I'm gonna let you guys know that right now.
Yeah,
You guys can buff your chest up and say, you know, I want to do, babes. If you're listening, go make more money than me. Bring it home. We'll spend it together.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. If you're making the Wendy's salary, we're still spending your money.
Yeah,
so this is the thing. No, but this is the
I'll
thing.
bring home the burgers.
Let's talk the truth. Because now it's like, okay, the woman's making more money, so we could spend her money. I know you want to joke, but there's truth to every joke, right? If we want to be still cared for, romance, that I don't care if you're making $5,000 a year. Do what you can with what you have for me.
Right.
With your resource. Are you selfless enough? Because that's where we're getting into the fear and she makes more, but it's really, what you do with $1 is what you do with $1 million. When you get that $1 million, you're going to be stingy same way.
You don't lose it.
Right? But so it's what you're willing to do with what you have.
Yes.
That's what we want to see.
Showing up, holding space, showing up authentically, confidently, no matter what your situation is. And it's like, and it's not only money too. I think sometimes, like, and what Jully alluded to and what you kind of alluded to is like, sometimes it's our competitive nature with our partners and even with each other. You know what I mean? To be the alpha, to be on top. And sometimes to me, like, the alpha could be the one that's not saying anything. The one that's just leaning back and just confident in who they are.
That is the alpha. You think Rick Ross putting up the billboard because he gave his girl new teeth and bought her a Viacom billboard? You think that's alpha? That's beta.
Yeah.
That's not alpha.
Yeah.
Alphas don't boast like that.
There's no need.
Half of us move a certain kind of way. It's smooth. Trust me.
You know what I'm saying? And it just reminds me when you think of a basketball team you played on where everybody wants the ball, everybody wants to be the guy. Everyone wants to be the guy. But it's like, you don't always have to be the guy. Sometimes being the guy, we have to redefine. That's what the whole point of the podcast name, He's a Guy?
I like how you played that.
I think it might be he's a guy with one gal. Season 2?
Jully, go on, Jully.
Could be my audition tape right here. Just saying.
But we have to redefine what it means to be the guy. And the guy is not the one that has to score 30 every game. That's not what it means. The guy could be the leader. And being the leader doesn't mean scoring the 30 or having the most money or having everything figured out. Sometimes being the guy is asking for help.
Delegating. Yeah.
Sometimes being the guy is delegating. Sometimes being the guy is listening.
Absolutely. Shifting gears a little bit. A little bit. Not really.
I'll put some suspense in there.
Not really. But like being a leader, right? Building community, as Stan was touching on. You have become a transformational coach.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what that looks like?
Yeah, well, I actually took a course because I didn't want to seem like I was just Jully Black trying to ting.
Right? People are still reach though.
Yeah, so I'm like, the title.
Jully Black trying to ting. Try that out. Try that out.
Trust me. This so I can get paid the bigger bucks. You know what I'm saying? No, I took a course from this company called Healthy, Wealthy, Wise before the pandemic.
Okay.
And really to learn, because there's change and then there's transformation, right? Change is back and forth, flip-flop. Transformation is permanent. And that takes time. It takes time. For me, it's about becoming an active participant. So I'm not just telling you, try this on for size. The way I coach is through lived experiences, through being very, very vulnerable, right? And keeping it all the way real. And so male, female, but it's more so through the physical, right? I launched 100 Strong and Sexy, and then the Power of Step, because positive motion equals positive emotion. So I'll say that one more time. Positive motion equals positive emotion. You know how you feel after when you're playing ball and you get people moving first and move with them, and then you disarm them, and then the rest is history. It's amazing.
She has some bars every time.
Oh, trust me.
Everything.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even want to know what you're saying. I'm telling you, when Jully spoke, I'm like, I got to reevaluate what's going on, thinking.
Positive motion equals
Transformation. I was still on transformation. There's a difference. You know what I mean?
Oh, leave, bro. The emotions.
You don't feel good.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, so now, how is the impact? You said it's man and woman that you're
Yeah, mostly women, but we have 1-2 husbands. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so in of that, you're saying how is that impact that you? I guess let me ask that question. How is the impact that you find on in what you do? Like, how does it show up? I guess in of what you do. So whether it be, because Tashana's told me about you do your accountable coach as well. Like you're.
Oh, yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like
8 years.
So how does that show up? Like, how do people appreciate that? The feedback that you get, like, how does that help people along? And just like you said, if it's just Jully Black trying a thing, and you say, yeah, I'm gonna put out a workout vid.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
it's every issue or every challenge that I've had in my own life, I launched it as like a module. So, for example, I had a program called In the Arms of an Angel. Okay. Right, and so that was grief and loss support, right? Because as I was going through grief and loss, I couldn't find counselors that looked like me, that were culturally relevant, just didn't understand, right? So that was part of it. Also being a vegan, not anymore. I love the oxtail, but I launched something called the Belly Boss Network, and everything starts and ends in the gut, right? And so having people understand what's going on, the microbiomes, the fasting, there's a whole other science part of thing that I really enjoy a lot. And then the Power of Step, I actually got certified to teach step aerobics. So I'm not just Jully Black trying to ting. Here it is. You guys might have seen me spinning on my step and all the things. I like people seeing me doing the things that I'm saying, hey, you want to try this on for size? Like, I'm actually doing it. And so hearing And with 100 Strong and Sexy, for example, at the end of our 100 days, we would have like a fashion show. And this was really, one in particular, there were some husbands there that came and was celebrating their wives. And they said that one husband in particular said he hadn't seen his wife wear she had on a bathing suit and a blazer and pumps since their wedding. Wow. Right? She had lost some weight. She's feeling good in her skin. The kids are like, mommy's feeling good. People are off blood pressure medicine, off insulin. Like, it's real deal, like measurable actual results. Wow. And it feels good because we're extending life here. Right? And so it's really letting people know that you have to invest in your health. We really, really do. And it's dope. It works.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Men in the room, how do you feel like we can extend that to our brothers? Because I know the chilling, the weed smoking, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like I know that I've gotten to the gym more recently, right? And it's one of those things when now I look at it and be like, I'd love to have a few brothers in here with me, like my friends or my brothers. And now we create like workout, but it's like, again, coming in playful, competitive spirits, obviously, but how do we just encourage that? How do we look at these things and be like, we need to make better choices for ourselves. We need to better ourselves, especially when it comes to, like Jully was alluding to, health and wellness.
I want to shout out our podcast because I think you're touching on a physical aspect, but mentally, what we're doing here in this space, just talking about certain things, is bringing forth people to, okay, this is their perspective. Okay, let me shift my perspective. And then also having experts and people like you, Jully, like, you know what I mean? Like it reshapes, it's starting to reshape them. And like, I don't think we fully understand it, but there's a community behind this. You know what I mean? And I hope that it continues to grow. And like, I think one of my favorite things from this podcast is when I learn, I know that other people are watching and they're learning. And I learned a lot today.
I'm glad.
But yeah, like I think to go to a physical side, hey,
or mentally, yeah, because you touched on that. I think that's all.
Yeah, but on the physical side, it's like, yo, bro, let's go play ball. Yeah. I rented out a gym. You know, I did it this week. You do it next week. Just, you know what I mean? Get moving. And it's just, again, community is so big because now it's like you're not necessarily leaning on just your energy to get there. Now it's like, yo, bro, why didn't you come last week? Now you're holding yourself accountable. Like, okay, I have to be there. Yeah, that's my point on that.
No, I to add to what Juice is saying, it's like we're already kind of doing. We put on a men's league team together. Like that. That's like a step. Yeah. I think we could go beyond basketball. Like we've been playing basketball our whole lives. We could switch it up and do a little something. We played baseball one year together. Like we start.
Who's we?
I'm about to say, who's we?
I played in a couple games.
You guys didn't show up.
I just found
I'm calling them out.
I found it boring.
Accountability.
It's a little slow.
Oh, okay.
But it was a little boring.
What happened to you?
What do you mean?
What happened to you? Why didn't you show up?
Because the mosquitoes, and it was slow.
Mosquitoes. Can you believe this guy? The mosquitoes. We're playing at 6 p.m. The mosquitoes.
Stop it.
No. But the point is this. I think we could do a little bit more in fostering community. I think we do a good job with the men's league stuff. But even like what we're doing with Mind State U and the men's brunches that we've been doing. And I think they can go beyond brunches. Like it could be.
Is it just for men though? Or could women come? Wagwan.
Look at him. Connor dead to rights. Look at him. Connor dead to rights.
Yes. Do a co-ed one?
We could do one.
Maybe
Absolutely.
do a co-ed one. 100 SAS and Mind State U.
Oh yeah, a collab. If you thought Mind State U was, Mind State U itself has been focusing on.
Are you auditioning for that too?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Absolutely. I do think men and women can come in spaces to heal together and do things together.
We're birthing something here, yeah.
Yes, we are.
But what I'm saying is like we're laying the groundwork, and I think we could do a lot more. But we are seeing the power of community with the brunches, with us playing ball together, with us playing baseball together, with us.
You know why we went low? We said baseball.
Let me ask you this. So you play ball together, you play baseball together. How have you made it so others can be invited or into your space?
So
in your, you know what I mean? Because you're playing ball, you're playing baseball. Because could anybody else come that you don't know?
So with the sports that we do together, that's more of like an us thing, having community within our groups. But like with Mind State U, that is what it is.
Okay. That's the one.
When we have the brunches, I want to start a bike club with it. Like there's more stuff we're looking to do with it.
Nice.
That's kind of how. Okay. But in terms of like us playing ball together, I think that's more of an us thing. But we do want to create a bigger community beyond that. Even with the podcast, Same thing. We want to do a lot. We want to do events, networking, just to create more of a community around this.
Yeah.
You know, because it's there online digitally, but I don't think anything beats the coming together of people.
Let me add to that. I don't want to give anybody the wrong impression out there. It's not baseball, it's softball. Also, it's co-ed, Jully. So,
extend because Tashawn maybe not want to come with you.
It's co-ed. So,
decent coming up.
sometimes we have like 15 to 20 people on the team. People pop in and pop out. And like I said, it brings everybody together. Like we have some police officers on the team. We have some people that are nurses, and everybody's schedule is different. So whenever you could pop out, they pop out and we play and we have fun. We're not good.
I love that.
Yeah, so I don't want anybody to come with expectations. We're not good. We just go there. We try to win. If we win, we win. We lose, we lose.
That's it. It's about the togetherness. I love that.
You feel me? Mm-hmm. All right.
Deshaun, you know what time it is, man.
Oh, it's time for our last part of the segment.
Oh, is it over already?
Nope, not yet, Jully.
We got one more thing.
The choice is yours.
So we have our card game draft that we play at the end of every episode. It's called Let's Talk About It. There's a series of cards, white being the most surface, blue being the medium, and black being the deepest. What we do is we have our guests select a card. They can either answer the question or pose it to the room and answer the question at the end. Ooh. But we just encourage our guests to pick a card.
Pick a card now?
Either of the decks, yeah.
Oh, my belly's rumbling.
And then, read the question.
When you do pick your card, we do appreciate if you answer the question as well.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta. It's not an or.
Yeah, like.
Mm-hmm. Get in there.
They didn't grab it from the top.
Get in there. It gets deep, eh?
All right, this is a soft one.
Okay,
You want to choose the next one?
So grab another one if you want.
It's up to you.
This is soft.
Okay.
This one's soft.
You know what?
Okay, I'll ask it. I get. No, this is too soft.
All right, go for
Sorry,
it.
we're back.
After all we did today.
We're back. All right.
Can't end off on that.
That's that. Okay, this one's better. What is something that you'll regret not doing in your life? I want the whole room to answer that.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
I know I'm very family oriented. I think one thing that I would really regret not doing is showing up for my kids, setting a positive example of what a Black man is, how to kind of navigate this world. Just showing them that like vulnerability is not toxic. It's not a negative. And just being a present example of like that it's okay to be different. It's okay to, you know what I mean? Yeah, just be vulnerable. I don't.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. I like my kids are my everything, and I like look at them and I'm like, I want them to be true to themselves. And if I'm not being an example of that, then they have no idea what to do.
Thank you, brother.
It's big.
So glad to have a father like you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, man. I guess I'm already talking, so I'll add. I would say like I'd regret just not giving it my all in everything that I do. I think a lot of the work I do and things I do in my life can be riddled with a lot of fear and anxiety, especially as it comes to like being public facing and the stuff that I'm trying to do. Like when I go up and speak or I make content or I try to inspire and educate and do all the things that I'm doing, there's a lot of fear sometimes attached to that. And I think a lot of times that fear stops me from living in where I actually know I could go because I'm just scared. So my biggest regret is literally just around
Not being true to you.
not being true to me and not showing up. Like I would regret not trying everything I could to achieve the goals I want to achieve and try to have as much impact and build as much community that I want to build. Because like, yeah, sometimes fear limits me. Like I've been talking about us doing a podcast for 2 years.
I remember.
You remember the card game we even talked about?
Yeah.
There was things I just kept talking about. I don't know. Should we? I don't know. But it's like, I don't want to be that person anymore. And if I had a regret, it would be not showing up and really just trying my best and reframing failures or as learnings and lessons.
I think for me, And hearing a lot of the guests that we have, us as the four of us talking, even people day to day, regularly, either at work or people that pass by, family, whomever. When you get an idea to try something, and you kind of like try to evaluate risk assessment, I guess essentially it would be. I met who's really refreshing. We have a young barber in our shop who kind of just reminds me a lot. He probably doesn't know any of this, but he literally thinks of what to do and is unapologetic in trying it. You know what I mean? If he wants to rap one day, he'll go take his money and go to the studio, try to, illustrate a track for himself. Or if it's barbering this day, be the best barber for the next 2-3 months, cool, he'll do that. If it's, I want to be the best basketball player, he'll get himself a gym membership and go try to, whatever. But it's like just that, being that young and having no fear behind the risk assessment. It's like, I'm trying to evaluate, does this make sense to do this now? So I think in combination, trying to bring everything together, just in response to that question of what would I regret, I think at this point now, I'm still young enough where it's like, just try. So the regret of not trying, even though those thoughts are there to do so, I don't ever want to look back and be like, yo, I could have. You know what I mean? So I think that's my answer.
What was on the next card?
It was like rate your life from 1 to 10. That was too soft.
I would have loved that one. But so regret not doing would be so I know when we were always younger, we always used to talk about like being police officers and things like that. We had a police officer actually on one of our episodes, and it's always been in the back of my mind of like giving it a try. I could actually do this, but for just some odd reason, it's like something stopping me from like fully doing it. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you guys what it is. It's not a fear of failing. It's not a fear of, you might not become a police officer or any of that stuff. I don't know what it is, but I still want to become a police officer. And it's weird because like, it's not, I wouldn't say weird. So many people I know are police officers that want to help me become a police officer. Like giving me the blueprint of where to go, how to do it, where to be at. Oh, I know this person, they'll get you in no problem. And for some reason, still not a police officer. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but it's going to happen. So that would be my regret to not do it. But yeah, next time give me the first card, Jully.
Sorry to interject before you go, Jully. Yeah. It's interesting because it shows up that you kind of are going that route anyways, even with your side business.
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's like,
you see, like I have a security company, right? And people always say like, oh, if you could do that, you could definitely become a police officer with your customer service, your communication skills, and how people, react to you, right? So it's like, I don't understand what's holding you back.
You're not fat, you could run down criminals.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like all these things.
The crazy part is I'm out of shape right now, but give me 2 weeks.
Is it? You think it has to do something with like how the people you grew up with?
I think so. There's because in the back, yes, in the back of our mind, like you think like, oh, how's your family gonna look at you? How are they gonna take it, right? Because we all know we are that family member who, forget the police. We don't want no babbling around me and not this, that, and the third, right? So it could be that's in the back of your mind, but you're not really thinking about it. But I don't have an answer for you, to be honest.
Interesting.
But I'm gonna let it happen. It's not gonna be a regret, but just put it out there.
You would make a hilarious police officer.
You
would have me. I would take the ticket in a second. You had me laughing the whole time.
I'll speed past him just to get a ticket.
And I'll catch him and say, Jully, where you think y'all go?
Oh, goodness. Jully.
Yeah.
The floor is yours, my dear.
It's interesting and listening to you all. I was like, wow, regret. So what I would regret not doing is making sure that all my estate planning is set and that everybody who needs to know where all the life insurance, where the plot is paid for, right? Estate planning and making sure that the emails are sent, making sure that everybody, I don't have biological children. My sister passed, so her kids are like my kids. And I remember my mom passed away. She had a leather briefcase thing, whatever, pouch. And in Sharpie, on the brown leather pouch, it said important papers. And we all knew what that meant. And it was when it was time, when she didn't want to be, it was do not resuscitate, we're able to look at what she wanted. And as children, not have to make that decision on our own. I talk about this as much as I can. People are planning for kids, planning for college, planning to make the bag. We're all going to die. We need to plan and be ready. Don't be selfish. Because when we gone, it's everyone else dealing with the mess.
Thank you, Jully. Thank you.
We all have life insurance.
We got it. I'm saying, man. We did an episode not too long ago about life insurance, right? Where we had a rep on. And you know what I mean? It's just like I said, we just had to take it more seriously. And
Did you get have your policy yet?
me? Long time. I had mine for like 2 years.
You think he worked for a company?
Man. I'm a super strong advocate. I believe that too. You know, so yeah, please.
I just don't like the way when you said life insurance, I felt like they're all looking at me because
Look that way.
I think you're projecting. You're projecting. No one is looking at
you know
you,
what?
bro.
I'm gonna put it out there right now, guys.
Still?
I
No,
hit
what do you mean
Nago Holla.
still? No, I have my policy. Don't worry, we're good to go.
Oh, okay.
We're good to go.
Side eye.
You see what I'm saying?
Julie. Sure. Anyway, please, if you haven't finished, I just wanted to make that a point to you. Anyway, anyway, touchy subject with the life insurance stuff. Like I said, we all have loss. We all see what it looks like. It's unfortunate. And we can, even people in position, unfortunately, that are heading that way, it's kind of like certain things, certain documents have to get, handled. And it's, even that's just a tough conversation, especially if you have siblings straying down from that. It's just, so yeah, that's why I hold it near and dear. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Well, actually, before we continue, do you have anything to promote or anything you wanted to get out there to the people to let them know where they can find Jully Black right now?
Right now, Miss Jully Black on the Instagram, jullyblack.com on the website. And you could probably book me in a Sobeys or a Shoppers or a Whole Foods,
Which one? I'm gonna pop up on you. Oh, Jully, nice to see you here.
Album's done. It'll be coming out probably later this year, maybe early next year. I'm writing a memoir.
Wow.
So the memoir is
Congrats.
16 chapters in. So that's been quite the journey doing that. And we're writing a musical about my life. So that's a whole other thing too. So
Comes out, please invite us.
yeah.
Yeah, many things to look for.
Yes, please.
Many things to look out for. I love that.
Yeah. So all of the things I've worked on over the years, the musical theater, the recordings, all the things, now I get to bring it into one. Let's start with my mom's life into my life.
It's blessed.
I'd love to see Jane and Finch in a musical theater.
Hey. I think we have to build the theater in Finch. Hey.
Well, for anybody out there looking for Jully, you heard it straight from.
Okay, but are you guys, okay, I know. Shout out to the baptism. Shout out to the baptism.
Come on.
I saw that.
Yeah.
We got to give a shout out. So we're going to go to church for a second. Everybody close their eyes. Let's go.
All right.
All right.
Love that.
Here we go. Sometimes we just have to say yes. Before we even know it's going to happen, we have to say yes. So this is what I'll leave us with. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, to your will and to your way. I'll say yes, Lord, yes, I will trust you and obey. When your spirit speaks to me, with my whole heart I'll agree, and my answer will be yes, Lord, yes. Amen.
Amen.
Yo,
That's a proper setup right there. Say nothing. Wrap it up.
next time, bro. See you next time, dog.